perhaps the most popular kind of holster is the strong side belt holster. And by strong side, we mean it's worn on the same side of your body as your strong dominant hand, and it's worn on the hip with a belt. This particular strong side belt holster has one loop on this side, or rather one slot, and two slots on this side, allowing it to be carried straight drop and relatively high rise, or slightly lower rise and canted on the belt. It's your choice. This is also an open top holster, what's called an open top holster, because it has nothing going over the top of the gun, and in order to withdraw this gun from the holster, you simply get a firing grip and pull it out. There are no straps or any other kind of retention devices that you need to release. A strong side belt holster is the most popular holster for a reason. It has a lot of advantages and very few disadvantages, and it's where most people who carry a gun professionally choose to carry it if they have a choice. Not everybody, but most. It's a very easy draw stroke. Bringing your hand down into this position to grab the gun and withdraw from the holster is biomechanically a very easy thing for most people to do. With a holster like this, you can move it around on your belt where you want it to be, where it's the most comfortable position for you. You can even access the gun with your weak hand should you need to. The holster we've just been showing you is called an outside the waistband holster because it's worn on the belt on the outside of your pants. In contrast to an outside the waistband holster, there are inside the waistband holsters. An inside the waistband holster actually is inside your pants, and the loops on the outside of it are captured by the belt on the outside of your pants. This, of course, allows you to draw the gun in a normal way. Now, an inside the waistband holster has some advantages and disadvantages, just like any other kind of holster. Because it's inside your waistband and your pants and your belt are all pulling it in very tight, it tends to conceal a little bit better than an outside the waistband holster. And some people like that. Some people also just like the way it feels better than an outside the waistband holster. Rather than use a belt going through a series of slots or loops, a paddle holster has a stiff paddle attached to the back of the holster, and you slide this paddle down beneath your shirt and your pants, and these wings here grab onto the underside of your belt and hold it in place. The main advantage of the paddle holster, of course, is that you can get it on very quickly. You don't have to unloop your belt and reconfigure your belt every time you want to take the gun on and off. And of course, it's also quick to come off. And paddle holsters are very popular with people who have to take their guns on and off several times throughout the day. A cross-draw holster is also worn on the belt, but it's worn on the opposite side of the body, on the non-dominant side of the body, and it's usually worn in front of the hip bone. To access a gun worn in a cross-draw holster, you reach across your body with your dominant hand, get a grip on the gun, and withdraw from the holster. And of course, reholstering is just the opposite motion. Cross-draw holsters have lots of advantages. They're very comfortable to wear. And for people that are seated a lot or driving a lot and need to access their handguns, they tend to prefer cross-draw holsters because it's very easy to get to this gun while you're driving, and it's a very comfortable place to carry your gun while you're seated or driving. An interesting variation of the inside the waistband holster is something called a tuckable. And a tuckable is an inside the waistband holster that allows your shirt to be tucked in over the gun. Your shirt tucked into your pants over the gun. The pants are here, because remember this is inside the waistband, and your shirt tucks into the space behind the belt loops. The big advantage of a tuckable holster is you don't need to wear a concealing garment. I mean, right now, underneath this bloused part of my shirt, I'm carrying a full-size handgun in the tuckable holster we just showed you. The only clue you might have that something's going on is in this particular case, the loops, the belt loops from the holster are a different color than the belt. But if I chose them to be the same color, you would hardly notice them at all even if you were looking, and most people just wouldn't see it. Now, in order to draw your handgun, if you're wearing a tuckable holster, you simply grab the blouse part of your shirt, yank it up, and the gun is right there. Everybody's seen shoulder holsters, and a shoulder holster is essentially a cross-draw holster that's suspended from the shoulders as opposed to being worn on the belt on the waist. As a cross-draw holster, it has all the advantages of a cross-draw holster. It's very comfortable to draw from. It's very easy to get to when you're driving. And some people prefer shoulder holsters to cross-draw holsters because they find when they're driving with a cross-draw holster, the seatbelt will come right across the point where the cross-draw holster is on their belt, and that this access to a shoulder holster is a little easier for them. A popular way to carry a smaller gun when you can't carry a gun concealed anywhere on your upper body is in an ankle holster. Of course, an ankle holster is simply worn around the ankle and has a holster that will carry a small gun. Once your hand gets to the gun, it's very easy to withdraw the gun from the holster. Ankle holsters are also popular with people that drive a lot. Some people that drive a lot prefer the ankle holster because while they're seated in the car, they can simply reach down and access their gun if they need to. Some people prefer a little more security than an open-top holster allows. And the traditional device for doing that is called a thumb brake. And a thumb brake can be added to lots of different styles of holsters, not just belt holsters. The way the thumb brake works is, as you acquire the firing grip on your gun, your thumb naturally comes to this place here, allowing it to break the snap on the thumb brake and withdraw the gun. There are other ways to secure your gun in a user-proprietary manner into its holster. For instance, this holster has a lever back here that has to be released by your thumb as you draw the gun. And you can see this is well designed in that as I acquire a grip on this gun, my thumb naturally pushes that lever to release the gun. But because this side of the holster is worn towards my body, it's very difficult for anyone else to access that lever and perhaps acquire my handgun. The advantage of a security holster like this is that if someone is trying to disarm me, they're trying to pull my gun out of my holster, they can pull all day long, and that gun's not going to come out of the holster. On the other hand, if I want to acquire my own handgun from my holster, I just do my normal draw stroke. I just take the gun out of the holster in the normal way, and it comes right out.